Hello, this is Kirill from forexboat.com and welcome back to the course on testing and optimization in MetaTrader 4. In today's tutorial, we will backtest and optimize our Expert Advisor Simple System version 5.0. As you can see, I have the strategy tester window open here, and I've already selected the Simple System version 5.0 Forex Robots, so please go ahead and do that as well. Next, you need to check that the symbol is British pound dollar, and that's a very common mistake that traders forget to set the right symbol and optimize on euro dollar, and the results of course are wrong. Next, the period should be 1 hour. We won't be using the every tick model, but we will be using the open prices model, and this is because, as you recall from a tutorial in section 2 of this course, we discussed that expert advisors like Simple System, which use only open prices or close prices in their analysis, will always have the same modeling results on any of these three types of models. So we will take advantage of that, and that will significantly reduce the time required for our backtests and optimizations in today's tutorial. Next, we'll leave the spread at current. The dates that we will use, I'll just open up a slide from one of the previous tutorials. As you can see here, we want to run backtest and forward test. So we'll take 4 months in total, or 4 of the past months. We'll use the first 3 for backtests and then 1 month for forward test. So let's go ahead and do that. Select today, 8th of September of 2014. So now we're going to go back 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8th May. And then select today, and then we'll go back 1 month. So this is where we'll be running our back tests. If we go to expert properties and go to inputs, just check that these are default. You can do that by clicking reset. These are the default parameters. We'll leave those, and we'll click OK, and we'll run our first back test just by clicking all right. As you can see here, there's already one trade, there's another trade, that's a profit, that's a loss, that looks like a profit, another profit, another profit, and if we look at the graph, it's slowly being built over here. So we'll just speed this up to the max. As you can see, we incurred a loss as a result of this backtest, and of course we need to improve that situation by doing some optimizations. So that's exactly what we'll move on to right now. To do optimizations, we'll go to expert properties, start with the testing tab. We want to untick genetic algorithm because that's something we'll discuss further down in the course, and we don't need it today. Inputs, we're going to set the following inputs. So start hour, we want to optimize every single hour possible. And so we want to start with 0, step 1, and go up to 23. Min pip limit, we want to optimize from 0 with a step of 1 up to 10. Take profit, we want to optimize from 10 to 10 and to 100. And of course, if your broker is 5-digit, then you have to multiply the value of take profit by 10, just as with min pip limit and stop loss as well. Stop loss, we want to optimize 10, 10 up to 100. Lots we don't want to optimize. User may filter, we want to start with true, optimize up to false. And MA period, we want to optimize starting with 10, with a step of 10 up to 100. So that's quite a lot. There'll be a huge number of combinations in these parameters. And one more thing before we start the optimization, we want to go into the optimization tab, and we will discuss limitations further down in the course in more detail. But today what we want to do is we want to set maximal drawdown to 15. So just make sure that you, after you set it, you press enter, otherwise it won't save. And what that will do is it will discard sets of parameters that yield a result that has a drawdown of more than 15%. So basically that will save us some time going through those undesired results. So we'll click OK here, tick the optimization tab, and click start. So as you can see, visual mode was unchecked by itself. If we go to optimization results, we're starting to see results here, and I'll just confirm that I have the skip useless results checkbox unchecked. You can have it checked or unchecked, doesn't really matter. If we go to the optimization graph, we can already see some preliminary results appearing on the chart. So this line is 0, and then above is profitable, below is negative. So what we're going to do now is, because there's such a huge number of parameters, 528,000, even on open prices, modeling is going to take 4 minutes. So I'll just let it finish. I'll pause the recording for these 4 minutes, and I'll be back with you once the optimization has completed. So the optimization has finished, and as you can see, it took just over 4.5 minutes. If we go to the optimization results and we pick the best result here, which yielded $4,000 in our backtest. So we'll right click and we'll set input parameters. If we run start now, then as you can see, the visual mode, optimization checkbox has been unchecked automatically. Now if we go to graph, this is what the best result looks like. And it looks alright, except for this maybe draw down here. So what we'll do is we'll go to settings, we'll go to expert properties. These settings that have been auto-populated for us, we'll save them as simple system _1. Save that, yes, and okay. So what I want to do now is I want to pick out the best ones that I like from this list of results that we see here, and then save them all like I just did with this one, and then use those saved sets to run the forward tests. So let's go to the next one here, for example. It will look very similar because similar results are next to each other in that report, but what I wanted to show you is that the drawdowns are quite high, and you might not like that. So if we keep scrolling, then you'll see that the next good parameters over here, the drawdowns are still substantial. So if we set input parameters, that's a very big drawdown. And say if you don't like that, then what you can do is you can rerun this optimization and set the drawdown limit to 10%. That's exactly what we'll do, and it will save us some time in our analysis, as we won't have to look through these drawdowns that are higher than 10%. So we'll just go to settings, expert properties, optimization, and we'll change this from 15 to 10. Click enter. Okay. Check optimization again and just click start. So once again, it will take some time, but it will save you time in your visual analysis of the results. So I'll be back with you once this is done. Alright, as you can see, the optimization has been completed, and let's go to the results. And up here we have the top results, which all have approximately the same profit. Their start hour is 4. So let's scroll down and see if we find any interesting ones. Oh, how about that one? This one stands out because all of the rest have use MA filter equals 0. This one has 1 equals 1. So it doesn't really matter which one we pick because the profit is exactly the same. So how about we pick that one? Set input parameters, start, and let's have a look at the graph. Graph looks good, so we can definitely use this one going forward. So we'll save that. I'll just change the name of this one so we remember that that one was R equals 10, and in this case it'll be set to R equals 4. So we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, now let's go find another one. If we go to optimization results, and another handy trick I recommend is you see how they're ordered by profit, but now we can look for, by just scrolling down, let's try looking for the lowest drawdown that we can find. So far it was 7. So basically meaning that it's kind of like still a high profit, but the drawdown is really low. So 7, 8, 9, still 7. Let's see what we can get. 8, 10, 6. So you see the drawdowns have dropped to 4, and the funny thing is that the profit is all the same for them, 4.21, and the start hour is also the same. So that's kind of an interesting observation. So let's just pick out a random one and look at the chart, and the chart's pretty cool as well. Looks like the take profits are quite low and the stop losses are high. And so out of these ones, what you would want to do is because the results are kind of all the same, it doesn't really matter which one you pick, but you wanna kind of like just look at the pattern here, and you can see that the stop loss is, the take profit is fixed, but the stop loss is dropping. So from 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, and 100 and so on. So you don't want to pick the one with the highest stop loss, because if this basically means that it doesn't really matter what stop loss was set on these backtests. But if in the future stop loss is triggered, you don't want it to be 100, but you don't also don't want to set it like at the lowest one, because in that case maybe there'll be a potential in your forward test to trigger it. So you want to maybe choose somewhere in between, and I don't know, like I try to go a bit conservative anyway, so maybe let's take stop loss 60, and let's just check that the chart is the same. If we go to graph, it is the same, and it's really linear. It's a pretty cool chart, and it's different to the ones we've already had. So it's good to have this variety of results in your sets. And so we'll just go ahead and save that one. And so that's our so that's the third one we've picked, and our was 8, so we'll save that. Okay. Now let's move on, and so another way to mix it up is just look at the ones you have, and you know that hour is a important parameter, and so far we've got 4, 8, 10. So how about we look for something in between the first or the lowest two, the 4 and 8. So let's look for a 5, a 6, or a 7, and then we go up back, still ordered by profit, and then we just scroll down and look for the first 5, 6, or 7 that we come across. So there was a 9, there was a 10, there's an 8, there are a few 7s. So if we take the top 7, set in input parameters, we start, and that chart looks a lot like the 8, but there seems to be more trades, so we'll go ahead and take that one as well. Save. So this one will be 4, and this one is a 7. Okay. All right, so now let's go from the top, and we find the first one that's not a 4 or not anything that we already have. There's a 9. So how about we set in parameters, start. The chart is pretty good, so I think we'll keep that one. Expert properties, and so we'll save that 9. Let's be the 5th one. 9. All right. Okay. And what I wanted to draw your attention to is that this 9 is sole. It's like solo. It's by itself among these 4s. So that's not really good, because you want there to be many 9s. You want a cluster of them, meaning that if you do change the parameters around, then the profit doesn't go way too far. So let's go look for more 9s and see if we can find a cluster of them. Shouldn't be too far off. There's another solo 9. So there's a cluster of 9s. But what we want is results similar to that one. And if you recall up here, or we just can, because we did run the test, we can just go to the report, and you can see here that the profit factor, for example, was 2.08. So let's see if we can get a higher profit factor than that. If we just keep scrolling, shouldn't be too far off. And bear in mind, the profits are all pretty much the same, so we're not losing too much by scrolling a bit down. So there we go. So there's a 2, there's 2.14. Let's set that as input parameters. That's a good chart. And there's another one. That's also a good chart. And you can see they're very similar. So what we will do is in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to use these parameters to run a more precise optimization around this particular set, starting with start hour 9. I think that's enough optimizations for one day. We'll continue next time, and until then, happy trading.